Up everyone, 1 second. Am I live? Just crashed. Yeah, I am live. All right, perfect. Uh, yes, as soon as I pressed live, my internet just crashed. Good to be back. How is everyone doing? Welcome to another stream. Market continues to move. Basically, just filling the space that we were looking at yesterday. So again, let me know what you are looking for. This is another pre-market analysis looking for what you can expect for tomorrow trading session, which are going to have more news regarding to the labor market. It's going to be ADP, non-farm payroll tomorrow. So yeah, let's take a look into the market. Nothing new in terms since we talked yesterday in terms of tariffs. So basically, the delay of 30 days in Canada and Mexico. Today we had the job openings, which was quite negative, way below 8 million again to 7 million and 600. Let me just put some music in here. And all right, let's continue. Yeah, so the news, as you can see in here, it was way below the what was expected, and we are back at numbers below 8 million. As you can see, it has been around this level, basically to back to levels way before COVID, and that's a little bit of where it's around. If it starts going even further down, that's going to be a concern for sure. I think Trump's going to still speak later on, so we'll see what he's going to say at around 10. This is the thing that I mentioned also. I think yesterday I did talk about that now with Trump, we are going to see the market moving in strange hours, right? So that's something that we need to adapt, and that's the reality at this point of the market. It's not going to be just during the normal news events and London Open, US Open, and so on. No, it's going to be maybe late in the evening or even at 10 p.m., which is the worst time ever to even execute a trade, because it's the moment that the market is closing and opening. Basically, the spreads are all over the place, so we cannot even trade at that time. So we'll see what Trump is going to say at around 10 p.m. Now, looking at the market, right? Basically, we're looking to see the market filling this space in here to the downside, and that's what we had, right? So the reaction there on Monday and today or yesterday basically still fill the gap, and then today just continue to move to downside towards this level in here, which was basically the target of this move to downside. It is one of the first key levels that price can either hold or just continues to break and pushes even further down in here. And that's basically what you're going to be looking for. Like, so there's not really much going on in terms of opportunities in this particular case. It's just price moving. It reacted perfectly from the extreme. We did have that break to downside, as I mentioned yesterday as well, which means that potentially price can go further down, even though it did respect it perfectly this demand zone. So that was a little bit of concern, but the way price respected this level, there's maybe at this point a little bit more of a possibility to even go further down. So we are going to see how price may react from this level, and eventually, yeah, it's either going to be somewhere in here or eventually then I'll get back to this level again. Yeah, that's basically a little bit my take. So what I mentioned also is that potentially, yes, maybe I will be still interested in looking for shorts if price by chance goes up, but I'm not really sure if I'm interested in looking for longs from here. I think then price is free to go, maybe retest this level again, and then maybe continue to fill out this compression once price breaks into this level, which then you are looking for price to go way further down, getting closer to this 106, 105 level in here. So yeah, that's a little bit on the dollar. Still wait and see at this point. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in there. In a more time frame, to be honest, I may not even be the biggest fan of this point here in order to look for a reaction. There's maybe the extreme in here, but maybe that was already reacted from, which maybe leads into this demand zone in there. So yeah, so let's see if you do have any kind of reaction within this level. Do you have this left shoulder? So that can be interesting, but we definitely had this impulse to the upside. Last time we really tested that level, and that's basically where we are reacting right now in here. But this demand zone can be used also eventually as a supply, like basically price can basically break to the downside, retest, and continue using this structure in here instead of a long, actually using as a short in here. So that's something to pay attention in here. If this value is actually going to hold as a potential long or the opposite as a short. Okay, so yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this level and what to expect from the dollar. Continuing, we go into the US indices. Okay, so this is basically what we had yesterday. I talked about this level, so price ended up filling the range even after the stream at around 9:30. We do have more earnings, or the earnings continue. I think it's going to be, who's going to be today? Is it Alphabet? I think Amazon is going to be on Thursday. Yeah, today I think there's going to be two more of the big seven announcing their earnings, so maybe a little bit more volatility later on as well. But price, as you can see, it filled the gap, and then it reacted exactly from that level that we talked about yesterday. Like we mentioned that there was this structure in here, there was a high probability that price would still at least move to downside in here. It did reacted from there. That's basically the moment that I think the tariff started in China at 5 a.m., which is basically midnight in the US. But since then, it's moving to the upside, and now we're looking for price eventually to go a little bit more to the upside. Actually, we'll see how price may react around this level. Okay, we'll see what kind of structure. Again, I like to wait for price to go to the extremes, but price already reacted one time from that level. Is there anything in here? This looks like compressed at any level that should have been respected. It wasn't. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. It's not clear. We do have this sign here that you can use a little bit as liquidity. Price actually use it, went a little bit farther down, and now it's kind of retesting this level. So we'll see if you do create some kind of structure at around this level in here, or some kind of PI that eventually can lead into a short without leaving or the need for price to go all the way back into these highs in there. So we'll see if that's going to happen or not. New Zealand, no, so not New Zealand, Nasdaq. Yeah, Nasdaq continues as well, so it reacted from exactly the same level as S&P. So there's nothing new in there, and we'll see how price may react from one of these levels in here. That's something to keep an eye on. Again, there's even the chance to go slightly higher in there, but of course, somewhere in here, price can indeed react from. And then of course, we also have the continuation here, right? Just literally continue into this into the next zone by respecting the demand zone, continue to push higher. And we have, of course, this previous level support resistance in here, basically the last demand zone that was created, then price broke into it. So potentially can be some reaction in here as well, maybe after faking out that high in there. But for this one, we do need a little bit more of PI in here. It's not the clearest level. Yeah, potentially can actually be interesting react from. Yeah, who knows? It can be interesting. Potentially can be an interesting one to pay attention. We did manage to break slightly this low in here. Didn't really reacted all the way through to the other level. We reacted from this level in here. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe can start building up a little bit of PI at around the structure. Of course, then eventually can go all the way to fake out that high as well in here into that zone. So yeah, something to pay attention at around this level. Yeah, I'm not really interested in selling in there. 1 second, guys. All right, next we go into Dow Jones, which also continued to push higher. This was a nice move. Price reacted from this zone in the middle, and the continuation now to the upside. Again, eventually we are going to be looking for price to get closer to this level in here. So that's going to be one of the zones in here to eventually look for. The Dow, is there anything in here at the highs that we did manage to break the lows, but we did respect it straight away. This structure in here, it was created after the break of that high, created a double bottom, so that makes it a little bit bullish, even though the compression is quite nice. And we did may have managed to break below this level in here, so that's something to pay attention as well. Yeah, may have done that. Perfect. We did it, right? Yeah, it's there a little bit. Yeah, so let it continue. Let it continue to go slightly higher. Actually, I'm forgetting to set up the alerts in here. Like, that's basically one of the purpose of doing the pre-market analysis, is to start setting up alerts around the levels that you want to be involved in the market. DAX also still needs to go a little bit more to the upside. We did manage to fake out this high in here, so we'll see. But I'm looking for price eventually to close the gap. It's one of the assets that hasn't really closed the gap created over the weekend. So that's what we're going to be looking for in here. And then eventually can even go slightly higher. But for now, yes, I'm looking for price to go. And it can actually set up a new alert in here just in case, or to be aware when actually price eventually breaks these highs in here. Like a potential trade in here can be just reaction from basically this level all the way through test from here. Like just to kind of what do you call it, pinpoint, right? Table tennis, that you go one side to the other. All right, let's continue. Something's wrong with my PC. Yeah, so that's literally in there. You can even look at FTSE 100, because I think we may be getting closer as well to an interesting level in here. All right, we just broke literally these new all-time highs as well, so we go all the way. Yep, literally do going all the way in there, but we're starting to, yeah, this we have actually respected, so that was a good reaction. There's not exactly an engulf in here, but price, looking a bit more into the lower time frame, is starting to break slightly this low in there. That structure created that high, moved to downside, so this is something that we can start looking as well. Potentially can feel just this range. Don't really like that type of PA that you're creating in there, but somewhere around this level can be interesting. So that's another one that with time potentially can look for an interesting opportunity. There was already that opportunity in there with that push down, and we'll see what's going to happen next in there. Looking at crypto. Yeah, looking at crypto, right? It basically continues all the same. So Bitcoin came all the way up, like we talked about this one already. Basically, filled the space all the way to the downside, and after that, it just moved all the way into this structure. Eventually, looking for price to potentially go a little bit more to the upside. We did manage to break now this low, so that's something interesting, at least on that 1 hour time frame, right? But you can see when you start then looking into the more time frames, you understand that maybe price respected something, and then raises the question, which time frame actually matters in this case, like, because we see a break of a 1 hour time frame, but then we see price respecting something else on the lower time frame, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it may be, right? And then is this an engulf, yes or no? Like, that's always one of the question marks that you may have in here. The trader just keeps crushing. Yeah, so again, price did respect that level. Can even look into the lower time frame. There's even maybe, yeah, that's an interesting zone. That's actually the extreme when you're looking into it. But on 1 hour time frame, we did manage to break it. Like, you can see that the extreme is actually that zone in there. Even though on 1 hour time frame, we did manage to break a low. And that's one of the situations where people are going to look at it. Initially, they're going to just think, okay, broke a low, let's get short. But this engulf to the downside may just be useful for the future and not for now, which means that maybe price is still going to go slightly higher, maybe fake out this high, where many people are going to be looking to short from here, and then potentially go there before actually moving to the downside. We'll see. Good reaction from this as well, from the lows. Price is moving a little bit more to the upside. We'll see how price may react from there. It's not loading. Yeah, no clue. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, because this is not loading. Well, let's finish with the crypto. Yeah, so we'll see in terms of Bitcoin. There's maybe still this zone in there, even though price got really close to it. Basically, already reacted from this structure in here. With that level, there's maybe one extreme in there. In terms of the price action around this level, it was actually quite good. As you can see, it's exactly the type of pair that we want to see. We started creating a little bit of structure. They did actually manage to break below this low, and then we have the fake out. Like we have this the head of the pattern being created, and then price just moved to the downside. This happened a little bit overnight in there, but that's exactly the type of price action that I like to see and that we want to look for, especially when price is starting to approach extreme levels. Like that's the key point in here, is to look for those opportunities at around that level. Looking at Ethereum as well, price came all the way to basically retest from these lows, and we'll see how price may react once it's back into this structure. That's basically what we're going to be looking for whenever price gets closer to this level in here, to see how price may react. Yeah, I forgot to also add an alert in here because I want to see how price may react from there. Yeah, so second, all right, Ethereum. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in there. Solana as well, continue to move. Again, Solana reacted from a really good level at the lows. Then of course we do have this new structure being created in here, just similar to what we had on the indices as well, S&P and the Nasdaq. Basically we create that first initial demand zone after price pushed to the upside, and price just respecting it quite nicely and continue to move higher, right? So that can be one of those first initial trend continuation setups that you can look for. It's within this structure, right? It's the same thing in here, within this structure, and also in here within the structure as well. So that was a good reaction. Looking at crypto total market as well, basically price, we'll see how price may react from there as well. Then continuing to looking now at the yen index. Yeah, the yen index had that reaction. This was still yesterday. Yeah, it reacted from that level. We were looking for price to come back into here, right? And that's basically what we had. We had the initial push, price reacted from that supply, basically taking the orders already from here. So it's cleaning this level in there in an aggressive move, and then price came a little bit further down, fake out this low into actually the demand zone that you have in there, and now price is pushing to the upside, right? So this will be definitely one of the levels to pay attention eventually for a continuation in here. There's maybe one last chance, maybe below even this low into this level, but I would prefer actually to continue to see this low holding price up if the intention is actually to push price to the upside. If the intention is to now to break and start pushing price lower, that's a different story, and that's then let's take a look into to see if price does break that low and potentially continue to push more to the downside. But if price does want to continue to go higher, then let's keep holding this low in here and push a little bit more, which again on the other end pairs means price moving to the downside. So we'll see how price is going to react still around this level. We are within this range at this point. Euro index also coming all the way up, basically respecting this structure still to the downside, still waiting to see eventually how it's going to close the gap in here. So that's something to keep an eye on. And to see what's going to happen from this structure. There's a lot of compression already on the way up in here, which means that eventually can just break all the way down, or at least retest back into these lows. So that's something to bear in mind in here. But at this point, definitely looking to see how price may react from eventually when it's going to close the gap, and the VIX just continues in here. Like now I'm having some difficulties with my MetaTrader. Basically it's not loading. I'm not really sure why, but the reality is that it's not loading, so I may just do the analysis in here. So my charts are going to be basically empty because I don't really do the FX analysis on TradingView. But yeah, it's literally not loading. I click on it and doesn't appear anything. Let's just try to open it as an administrator. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I'm having some issues with my PC. All of a sudden, some platforms just switch off. Even my PC as well sometimes also just breaks down. I need to see what's going on in here. All right, so let's continue. Euro dollar, right? So basically, we had that reaction from the lows as we talked about. Price closed the gap, came all the way down in here, and now it's pushing to the upside. All right, so what we have is that we have this structure at around this level. Price already basically broke a little bit higher, which eventually can lead into this next structure in here with that zone. This high never really reacted from it. There's a little bit of space as a consequence in there, but you do have still this structure in here as well. Okay, basically you have all these left shoulders, all these previous support resistance, and you created this supply in here just before push to the downside. It was on Friday, which means that price may react from that level. Right, so that's something that we want to pay attention to, see how price may react or the approach towards that level. Like if price continues to compress a little bit, eventually it creates a double top, and then eventually start showing a little bit of a weakness. For example, maybe breaking below that low, just start to show a little bit more of a weakness. We may have still some kind of reaction to be expected from this level. The price may have already reacted from the upper edge of that level, but may still react from here or even a little bit deeper and then continue. So first and foremost, any reaction from here, the target's going to be basically this level in here. All right, so that's something to pay attention. So basically any target from these levels, the target's going to be somewhere in here, first and foremost. Unless price starts breaking some structures, and then that's going to be a little bit of a different story. So again, what I would like to see is perhaps a little bit more of a move to the upside, eventually price breaking some kind of structure, either that one or this one in here, maybe not even reacting from there, just take this low, starts pushing higher a little bit more again, and then yes, and then we can have that move, and potentially price can start turning from here. Right, so that would be something to pay attention to in here on the euro dollar. Yeah, so we'll see what may happen. Yeah, so basically we have two levels, right? So that level and potentially some reaction still in here, and then we do have that next structure in there. Looking at the pound dollar, there it goes. We had that initial reaction that we talked about yesterday from the highs. Price actually managed to slightly break below that low, but overall I was still looking for the pound to go even more to the upside, and eventually can even go into that zone in there. Don't forget that we do have Bank of England on Thursday, so there's going to be a little bit more volatility on the pound. But the main difference between the pound and the euro dollar at this point is that euro dollar on Monday made a much bigger move to the downside. Basically, when it came all the way to test the lows, and the pound didn't really had the need to do that, right? Basically, the pound just paused in here. Why? Because basically all these lows actually reacted from this extreme before it pushed the upside, and the euro dollar didn't do that. So that's one of the reasons that we had this type of a move in here. So as a consequence, the pound is already getting closer to these previous highs in here, and the euro dollar is still a little bit further away. So we'll see. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a reaction in here expected. This is still a fresh supply. We have all these highs in here that we potentially can use a little bit. We do have even a break in there to the downside. So yeah, somewhere around this level, I could see price still faking out that high in there, and maybe getting a little bit closer into that structure. That could be a zone. Even that one as well may still be fresh as well in there. So those are just a few levels that potentially could look for in here. Yeah, is there any chance that we can just sell from where we are? We'll see. First of all, if Trump's going to speak at 10, so I was about to say that let's wait and see where price is going to be at during the London Open, but with Trump still speaking at 10 p.m., it may just move the market, and the potential opportunities that we're having here may be gone. Like, I don't really want to short it right now, but with a little bit more PI potential, there could be a setup. We can maybe just retest this level as well first. So that's something to keep an eye on. What's next? Euro pound, right? So Euro pound, that's one that we are looking at, right? So Euro pound, something that we are looking for is a potential long. Like we talked about this, and price is actually reacting quite nicely. And then there's maybe still the next level in here where price can even go as well, right? Maybe price doesn't really just want to react from here and go higher. Maybe it wants to go a little bit lower or have some kind of reaction here to attract even more buyers into this level, potentially for then price to go down, and only after that go all the way up. I can eventually use these left shoulders in here for a long in there. Something that I like about this one is that we did manage to break above that high, and we are actually reacting from an interesting still zone in here on the left side, right? So that's something to pay attention to see if this is actually a potential bigger move to the upside. Euro pound has been bearish for quite a while. Let's see if there's a little bit of a shift in here around this period. But I like it, right? So this is something. Yeah, that's a good reaction. We'll see in terms of the PI that around the structure did manage to start breaking. Yeah, I stopped using Chrome, and I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job or not on that. I'm having a lot of crashes in here. What was I saying? Yeah, Euro pound. Yeah, Euro pound even managed to break above that structure already, so that's nice. We do have a gap in here to fill, so that's going to be another one to pay attention to eventually, to see and to look for price to fill that gap. Okay, already have way too many alerts. I need to delete some of them. Yeah, so we'll see it around this level in here, if there's going to be a long, maybe waiting a little bit more for price to move closer, so we can have a better risk reward with potentially the target in there. Something else that we also see several times on the pound is that they like to kind of bounce and to fill the spaces in the ranges that they are creating. So that's something also to pay attention as well in there. Next, we look at Aussie dollar. All right, so Aussie dollar. Yeah, this one is a little bit of a bullish PI that you can start seeing in here. Yesterday I mentioned that we could potentially even go further down to look for some long somewhere around this level, but it doesn't look like that price is wants to do that. I think it's actually ready to just go to the upside. Of course, we need to pay attention to see how price may react closer to this level in here, and there's maybe something to pay attention. Yeah, I need to check the alerts. Yeah, I'll do that later. Yeah, we'll see how price may react from around this level, but overall the price action is quite nice. We already have a clear break to the upside in here, even though basically price react from this. Actually, already reacted way above that level, and the next zone is actually this level in here. So there's literally space still for the Aussie to go even further up, and that's exactly what you want to be looking for. All right, so basically it doesn't really change anything, and we start having that bullish PI. Then price can break structure to the upside and create a new low, then even creates a new high in here, then a new low. Like, this is literally creating confusion everywhere. Price actually reacted from an interesting level in here on the left side, and then now we are on the way up, at least to close this range once again. Okay, so basically even to go all the way back into this structure. That's one of the targets. Yeah, that's definitely one of the targets, and then we'll see if price continues to go higher or not. But it starts to look interesting in here on the Aussie dollar. Looking at New Zealand, which we do have a is it unemployment today? Yeah, unemployment in New Zealand. It's similar as well. So we do have that structure also being created in here or even in there, and we'll see. All right, so we'll see what's going to happen at around this level. We talked about that yesterday as well, that potentially the next structure in here on New Zealand is somewhere around there. So definitely that's something to pay attention there. Again, you do have this structure that potentially price can have some kind of reaction, but it could even actually just continue to push even higher than that. Is there any chance that price potentially can come back into this level in here, right? Basically coming back into this structure, maybe. Like all of a sudden, what you want to see is looking for symmetry in the market, like expecting price to trade within these ranges or use these levels in here as a potential move into the next level. So that's something to pay attention in there. Yeah, so that's basically what we have. Yeah, then we are looking at the Euro Aussie, which I have no idea. There you go, Euro Aussie. So we continue to push a little bit more to the downside. So we kept respecting this zone in here. We had already managed to break some structure in there. Next level, just to pay attention to, is somewhere in here, but it goes a little bit in alignment with what we are looking at the Aussie pairs, which means that if the Aussie dollar is actually ready to start moving all the way to the upside, then we are going to be looking at this Euro Aussie as a zone, as a continuation to the downside. Right, so that's basically what you're going to be looking in here. And yeah, let me know, guys, what kind of pairs you want to, look, what you want me to look at market and to discuss together. So yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. So even if you are not watching live, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll be looking at it tomorrow. All right, Euro Aussie, that's what we have. Next, we go into Pound Aussie. Is this one? That's Pound CAD, Pound Yen, Pound Aussie. All right. Yeah, it's reacting. Right, it continues to react from that level. That's basically what we're looking for. Good reaction from this structure, taking out that level in there, and you're looking to see how price actually may react from around these lows in here. The PI so far is starting to be a little bit weaker. Price is starting to find some buy pressure, and maybe this level in here can be quite interesting, to be honest. In here below these lows, I think price could eventually find some buy pressure at around this level and potentially push price to the upside again, or at least to kind of continue to respect this level in here. It looks like that to me. Yeah, it looks like the price is holding a little bit, or still a fresh level in there, and we could see this opportunity, even though price, of course, in the bigger picture actually is reacting from a really interesting level in there. So yeah, Pound Aussie is something to pay attention. Again, we have seen, interesting enough, we have seen actually this strength on the pound dollar, but in some of the pound pairs we actually are seeing a move to the downside. I'm talking about this Pound Aussie. Then we can look at Pound CAD as well, which just continues to push more to the downside. We had a little bit of this structure in here as well on Pound CAD. It's really good, and price is literally going all the way. So this was already a break in here, break of a low. So that is exactly what you're looking for, and now price going into the next structure, right? So basically trying to see how price may eventually react from here. Yeah, so that's something to look for in here on the Pound CAD. But really good reaction from that level. Something also that we were looking for. Looking at the yen pairs. Yeah, Aussie yen kind of moving to the upside. All right, let's take a look actually at dollar yen. Yeah, delete this. This is from a long time ago. Yeah, it continues to be within this range. Another leg, or at least attempt to push to the downside. So we'll see if price actually managed to break below these lows in here, or if price eventually goes into this structure in there. Something that I still like is around this level. So that's something that I would like to pay attention to eventually in the future, is eventually how price is going to react from there. Like, we do have a lot of structure around this level in here, so we'll see what may happen in here on the dollar yen, if we do actually manage to break below the structure in here or not. Something that we have been holding several times, but eventually price could actually break below it and get a little bit further down into the next level in there. Euro yen 160. Yeah, this is euro yen, which, yeah, that was a good reaction from the highs. What did price reacted? Yeah, this is which kind of naked charts. Basically, price in here reacted okay from that level. Then you're looking for price within this level in here. Basically, that's the last high, created the last low, and you may have a little bit of structure in there as well. But we have this level, you can basically extend it. That's basically where price is reacting. It's always a good level to be aware of. Price tends to respect quite nicely the last, basically the last high that created the last low, or the last low that created the last high, kind of a support resistance kind of zone in there. And in alignment, we had also this demand zone. So it's a level where price does actually tend to respect quite often. Close the gap. Yeah, we'll see how price may react from here. Yeah, basically that's what we're going to be trying to see in here. A little bit of weakness, already some reaction to the downside. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we will take a look into it. At this point, I'm not really interested in where price is. Looking at the pound yen, it goes into the same story in here. Basically, these lows in here holding price. Price already trying to show some attempts to go even higher in the bigger picture, and price now actually respected that zone somewhere in here. This was a really nice move. Also faking out these lows and then pushing to the upside. It may not have actually, may have left this level behind, to be honest, which can be for the future maybe. We did manage now to break above this high in here, so that's something, and then eventually can start targeting a little bit more into something in here. Did price respect this level? Yeah, basically it respected that structure in there. So we'll see. May have fake out this high, but I think it's still respecting this structure in here. Yeah, once it breaks above this level, then it basically goes into this compression in here, and it's going to be free a little bit more to go higher. Now, I don't really like out these highs, not at all. So yeah, again, I'm not really going to be participating in anything here until price eventually gets closer to some of these extremes, a little bit more into those levels in there. Then you can look at the dollar CAD. Yeah, dollar CAD it's a great move, right? It's a wonderful move that we have in here. Basically, price fake out those that double top, reacting from something more on the left side. It's still a bit further away from there, and we already had some PA to the downside, like, and that's typical, right? Because we did manage to break below these lows, so we already had this move in here, but price had to go, right? It looks like that price had the need to go above the double top before actually starting to move all the way to the downside, like, and now which we can't, and it helped, of course. Like, first we create chaos with Trump announcing the tariffs, and then you have the complete move once there is kind of a little bit of a deal and everything is postponed now for 30 days, which has pushed the price literally to the opposite side, like, without really looking back, just straight move to the downside in here. There's a lot of volatility within these candles. It was kind of an aggressive move to the downside in there, and now price just continue, like, it's literally about to break again these lows, and eventually it's going to go all the way to go below those lows as well. in there. Yeah, that's our card. It's quite similar maybe on the Euro card that we may have in here. Yeah, Euro card also reacted really nice. From the highs, I was actually looking still a little bit more to the upside. I was looking for price to get actually into this structure to fake out these highs in here. But price only fake out at once, still respected that level, and then start pushing lower again. The PI, it was somehow a little bit already in there, right? We start having some lows being broken, and then you have a strong push up, and then you have the turn. Like again, it's the same exact thing in here, that eventually price moves to the downside, and it may continue, and eventually may be looking for this move to come back into some structure in here. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, but what a move! Like the cat pairs, literally providing a great moves in here. Looking at the dollar franc Swiss, that's another one. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So we had already that move. Like basically that's where we start having a little bit of a separation, compression in there to the upside. The price broke below that structure. Like we actually had an engulf to downside. That's how I have it on my chart. Great reaction from the extreme in there, and yeah, the rest is history. Price literally just crashing all the way down. There's maybe a potential reaction from here. We do have this demand zone, so that could be another level, but it will be even better if we do actually manage to break below this low in here, and then have some reaction from here, or price may just react from this level as well. So that's something to pay attention. Again, there's been literally 1.5 days just moving in one direction, completely correcting the move from the weekend. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen here. To with the alerts. And then eventually, of course, price can continue, and eventually is going to challenge this level in here. At the highs, yeah, there's potential even, of course, to test to this level, and something in there as well could be interesting. Looking at gold, I think FX is done. So looking at gold, what we have, like we have a continuation to the upside. That's basically what we have. Yeah, basically that's what we have. Continuation, price continue quite strong in here. Not exactly any signs of reversal. There's a little bit of a few lows being created in there, but price just still respected some structure, pushing to the upside. So we need to pay attention maybe if this level starts being broken or not, as a first reference in here. Price respected the level in there. We start having a little bit of this double top. I do like that, right? That's exactly what you want to look for. A little bit of resistance. It looks like that maybe price wants to potentially start looking for sales, or at least that's attracting sellers into this level, because you see that this looks like a resistance, and eventually you're going to have another fake out, another breakthrough this level in here, and then you'll see if this goes or the opposite. And then you move to downside. You need to respect the next level. There's no point in looking for something like this, and no point at all. The tendency at this point continues to be for price to continue to push higher. Then you have oil, right? And now oil actually was a great move in here. Basically, price came all the way back to test this structure in here again, depending on the server that you are looking for. But price respected really nicely this previous structure. That's basically where we had this accumulation here. Price move up, respecting that zone, and then it was quite aggressive. Right, it was quite aggressive. There was not exactly much timing. There was potentially it could have been a buy stop situation in here, or maybe retest at level, because we do have or had the break to the upside in here, and then you could have gone long somewhere around somewhere in here, or even just place another buy stop as soon as price breaks above this high again, because we did have a lot of compression. Something that I liked about this move on oil is that we start having some bullish PA before that. Like we start having a little bit of some lows being respected, a little bit of the structure around here. We even managed to break some highs as well. Like, so we did manage to break a little bit of that structure. So everyone is going to start looking for longs in here, and as soon as price breaks the downside, especially so aggressively, or kind of with this momentum, everyone's going to be looking then to short from the breakout setup, right? Basically a break and retest of a move, and usually that's when the opposite tends to happen. You did manage now to break above that high. I think there's definitely still a level in here at the lows that price can still go towards to if it wants to come all the way back into this structure. Otherwise, price may just respect a little bit of this zone in here, and you may just have some kind of a move like this. Oh, what's going on now? Is this? I'm speaking. Something's going on. All right, perfect. And same thing on Brent. Basically, price also coming all the way. Again, it depends a little bit what you are looking for, but basically coming back into this structure. The PA overall, it was also interesting where we had that push. So that was something to look for. And yeah, basically overall, we do have right, I'm back, guys. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with my internet. Yeah, oil moving a bit to the downside. So I'm going to be curious. Of course, we do have this structure. That's still a level in there that needs to be broken again to the upside. Basically, the opportunities that you may have now is just to test this level, maybe look for another short in there and continuation to the downside. Because overall, if I'm being honest, this may not be, of course, the final destination. Maybe price still wants to go back into these structures in here. So that's potentially a level that you're going to be looking for oil eventually to go towards to, back at the origins of this move. But this is overall a good level where you could have that reaction, price is reacting, and we'll see. But this is the range eventually where we want to see price coming back into it, which means that you may have that opportunity to look at for a target at least, and then potentially for a sell as well. Yeah, that's basically it. In this case from today's pre-market analysis. Again, oil is going to be something that I'm going to be looking at. I think oil is in this range, which is quite interesting. To look for trades within this level, I think that's going to be some good opportunities. And then it's about the dollar as well, to see what's going to happen at around this structure, or if prices won't even go a little bit more further down after the correction that we had since yesterday and today, if we're going to have a little bit of a bounce or not. Basically, price filled this first initial level in here back into this range, so we'll see how price may react from this level, which of course can originate some reversals as well on the euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. Yen pairs at this point, I'm not really sure what to look for. I have to be honest. I don't really like the level still to potentially sell, which potentially that could mean that price would go higher from here. Yeah, I need to wait and see. Euro pound continues to be on my radar, but that's something that I'll be paying attention to. And then US indices as well, as price continues to approach and move to the upside. Try to see how price may react from those levels, right? So somewhere around this zone, Nasdaq as well, as it's approaching that zone in there with a little bit of a range right now. So that's something that I'll be paying attention to. And yeah, that's basically it. Until I see a little bit more clarity in some setups, or price gets closer to the extremes again, then I'll be looking for something else. So yeah, so with that being said, guys, thank you very much again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's analyze the market together. Again, there's so many benefits of doing a pre-market analysis and knowing what you are looking for tomorrow's trading session. It's going to help you tremendously if you do that. So yeah, take advantage, make it as a task of analyzing it, and instead of just doing it alone, we can share our views together and analyze the market together. Yeah, so like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you. Bye bye.